Have you ever been really desperate? Like really desperate? Chances are probably not. At least not to the level I'm talking about here. I mean, I'm talking just absolutely your survival is at stake levels of desperate. There's that somewhat famous, depending on what circles you swim in, Alex Jones quote where he says, "I'll eat my neighbor's ass." Now, it's funny because you take that clip and post it around the internet, which people did. Obviously, it was taken out of context. Now, I'm not the biggest Alex Jones fan or anything like that, but what he was trying to say was that from like a prepping perspective, if things get bad enough, you'll start eating people. Now, obviously that's extreme, but it's not unprecedented. I mean, going back throughout history in survival situations, I mean, you know, look at the, the South American soccer team, look at the Donner Party, things like that. Like, it is something throughout history. Now, most of the time, people are able to find ways to sustain themselves without eating other people, but it does happen from time to time. And the point is that things can get really, really, really bad. And sometimes they can get really, really, really bad very quickly. Or sometimes it can just be a slow progression to the point that things get to a desperate survival situation. It really just kind of depends. Now, unfortunately, most people live in a constant state of normalcy bias, right? Especially in modern society, especially here in the United States, because we've been living kind of high on the hog for a long time. Our parents, our grandparents, maybe even our great-grandparents were doing pretty well. Maybe not necessarily by first world standards, but certainly by second and third world standards, which used to be the standard of the entire world until countries like the United States of America rose above that here in about the last century. So we have that normalcy bias that tells us things will never change, things will never get worse, and if they do, they won't get that bad. But the fact of the matter is that, unfortunately, without drastic and major intervention, the United States is going to suffer through some very, very hard times, as is the rest of the world. We have at this point, unsustainable declining population. I mean, Gen Z and obviously Gen Alpha are not having kids. And we have an infrastructure in place in this country that is set up to sustain a certain level of people. Economically, I mean, as far as just everything across the board, especially since we've moved to a very customer service and retail-oriented environment and economy, as we've shipped out manufacturing and so many other aspects. Even our healthcare industry has been built up and built up and built up to be able to function off of and maintain the health of a certain level of population. And as that population declines, which it is declining, and look, it's not like, you know, there's going to be some mass population boom. And even if there was, if all of a sudden, you know, Gen Alpha, as soon as they turn 18, which most of them are not yet, and all the Gen Zers just all of a sudden started having kids, I mean, you've still got 18 years, probably, give or take, before those people can enter the workforce and start sustaining the economy. We have problems. And then this is on top of all the other issues that are going on right now in the country with our economics and our infrastructure and manufacturing and so many other things. And yes, there are people actively trying to fix that. But then there's the other side. I mean, you have the Zoomerwaffens, right? If you don't know what that is, look it up. But I mean, it's essentially people on the right with a whole lot of beliefs, but one of their beliefs tends to be more leaning into government to solve problems, which is, in my opinion, very antithetical to the right, but you got these groups of people. So as we're losing population and infrastructure starts to suffer and the economy starts to suffer, and then even people on the right screaming for the government to do something about it, we're building a very, very bad stew of things to happen. And this is why you prep, because you don't want to eat your neighbor's ass, man, because things could get very bad very quickly. And in fact, again, as I say, if it wasn't for the normalcy bias, most of us, and I think a lot of us do, especially if you're watching this video, do see that things have consistently been getting worse and worse and worse on a variety of fronts. Again, I'm just talking about the United States, but this is a worldwide issue. And you have to put that normalcy bias away and start preparing to take care of yourself and your family. Yeah, I know it's an extreme example talking about cannibalism and things like that, but it is historically the norm. Not necessarily cannibalism, but being in a dire survival situation all the time. And most individuals in first world countries and even second world nations are no longer equipped to be able to handle actual true survival situations. And this is why you need to start preparing yourself now. And I'm not just talking about going and buying guns and ammo and food and water and medical supplies. I'm talking about mentally preparing yourself. I'm talking about going out and trying to learn new skills that will help you survive, whatever those skills may be that you think are going to help you the most. Start prepping, because things could go so wrong so quick, and you don't want to be Alex Jones looking forward and salivating over eating your neighbor's ass.